Welcome to Safari Rally Kenya.
Long before the roar of rally cars echoed through Naivasha for the 2026 Safari Rally, Kenya's roads and cities echoed with a different kind of danger. The footsteps of criminals whose names became folklore not for heroism, but for the reign of terror they unleashed upon the nation. From the 1970s through the 1990s, Kenya witnessed a wave of violent crime that gave rise to gangsters whose exploits became the stuff of legend. Here are some of the most feared criminals in Kenyan history. Topping the list is Edward Maina Shimoli, alias the Jackal. Perhaps the most infamous criminal in Kenya's history, Edward Maina Shimoli earned his nickname the Jackal for his uncanny ability to slip through the fingers of law, escaping from Kamiti Maximum Prison not once but 3 times. Born in Butere, Western Kenya, Shimoli had an unremarkable upbringing before plunging into the underworld at age 20. Armed with a Taurus pistol, he terrorized Kenyans throughout the 1990s with a crime spree that defied belief. Shimoli is reported to have raped 88 women and murdered 14 people. His criminal portfolio included bank robberies, notably stealing 5 million shillings from Baroda Bank along Kenyatta Avenue. Shimoli's gang was unusual, comprised mostly of women who operated under the radar of suspicion. More chillingly, he possessed a police radio communication gadget, allowing him to monitor every police move and stay perpetually one step ahead. Arrested on August 19, 1999, he escaped prison multiple times before his death on August 26, 2007, along the Kangundo Road. Reports suggest he was shot by police officers who allegedly wanted a share of his accumulated loot. Ironically, after his last release from prison, Shimoli had reportedly begged authorities to let him remain behind bars, a request they denied.
Ni mzaliwa ambaye ametoka katika familia ambapo baba na mama wote walikuwa ni walimu. Kulikosekea nini?
John Batista Kiriamiti. Today, Kiriamiti is a celebrated author whose books like My Life in Crime sit on school syllabi. But before the pen, there was the pistol. Born in 1950 in central Kenya, Kiriamiti became one of the country's most wanted criminals before the age of 25. His specialty was bank robberies across Nairobi, executed with military precision. His gang's most famous robbery occurred in Naivasha, stealing 500,000 Kenya shillings, a fortune in that era, while the president's motorcade was en route to Nakuru. Despite the heightened security presence, they executed the entire operation in just 6 minutes. Arrested in 1971.
Mara ya mwisho kwanza nilienda nikashikiwa kwetu nyumbani nikienda kuona wazazi.
And sentenced to 20 years. Kiriamiti was released for good conduct before being rearrested in 1986 over alleged involvement in the 1982 coup attempt. His transformation from gangster to literacy giant remains one of Kenya's most remarkable redemption stories. Gerald Wambugu Munyeria, alias Wanugu. Wanugu began as a matatu tout and bus driver, skills that would later serve him well as he became the muscle of a notorious criminal trio that paralyzed Nairobi in the 1990s. Born in 1973, Wanugu's driving expertise made him nearly impossible to catch as he navigated escape routes through Kenya's treacherous terrain. His crimes included murdering 2 CID officers from Thika and multiple reps. The government formed a special task force, Alpha Romeo, led by the legendary trigger-happy officer Daniel Serone. Through an informer, Serone tracked Wanugu to Nakuru's Kabatini Center. Serone disguised himself as a mechanic and walked into a shopping center where Wanugu was relaxing with a woman. Recognizing his target, Serone made a split-second decision: confront the killer alone.
Muda mfupi baadaye, afisa wa polisi aliyekuwa akiogopewa na wahalifu wengi alijitoa waziwazi.
A gunfight erupted as Wanugu used the woman as a human shield. And when the dust settled, both Wanugu and the woman lay dead, sprayed with bullets.
Ndio wakapiga risasi zingine juu, wakasema watu watawanyika wote, ni Wanugu, tumeua Wanugu, jambazi sugu.
And to this day, locals in Kabatini still recount the story of the day their quiet town became a battlefield. Bernard Matheri Thuo, alias Rasta, the quietest of the infamous trio, was perhaps the most feared. Nicknamed the Ghost with the Dreadlocks, Rasta lived a double life that confounded police for years. Little is known of his background, but Rasta survived the longest among his peers by corrupting the system itself. He bribed officers within the Alpha Romeo squad to feed him intelligence on police operations. When police killed members of his gang, Rasta retaliated by throwing a grenade into a GS unit along Thika Highway, injuring dozens of officers. In his rural village in Kiriaini, Murang'a County, he was known for a grotesque signature, pulling nails off his victims. Betrayed by informers and surrounded, Rasta was shot dead by police in 1997. The last of the trio to fall. Anthony Ngugi Kanagi, famously known as Wosho, perhaps the most tragic figure on this list. Wosho's journey from altar boy to gang leader represents a dramatic fall from grace. Born in Kamoyu village, Nyeri County, Wosho lived in a church compound at Shaurimoyo Baptist Center after his father died of cancer. He served as an altar boy before life took a dark turn. Moving to Dandora, he worked as a mechanic, bus driver, and tout before becoming the alleged leader of the Notorious gang. What made Wosho different? He had once been a GSU sharpshooter who turned against the system he served. With a cold stare and military training, he planned robberies like war campaigns, banks, money trucks, and invading wealthy homes. Wosho was the first of the trio to fall. Gunned down in Ongata Rongai in 1996 by the Alpha Romeo squad, just days after the task force was formed. Daniel Kiptum Cheriot, alias Frank. Frank was a master of deception. Born in Kitale before moving to Nakuru, He posed as a police officer for years, even walking into the police control room to warn officers he would kill them one by one if they interfered with him. In reality, Kiptum was only a police reservist, but deceived everyone into believing he was a DCI officer.
Kenya's top security officers, Police Commissioner Mohammed Hussein Ali and CID Director Joseph Kamau, were hoodwinked into believing the fugitive was once one of them.
His scheme unraveled when he was found guilty of renting his gun to robbers for their criminal activities. Police finally tracked him to his house in Zimmerman, Nairobi.
For 3 months, the informers gave detailed accounts of his activities and hideouts, and finally, his most trusted friends pinpointed this hideout,
where he was killed in 2005.
I was never born a serial killer, but I became a serial killer. It's not by birth, but it's by default.
Philip Onancha, the most disturbing entry on this list. Onancha was a self-confessed serial killer, recently released from prison under circumstances that still raise questions. Onancha allegedly killed his victims, mostly women, before drinking their blood.
Nile nafikia mali unajua kwamba kile ambacho nafanya si kizuri.
He reportedly targeted prostitutes and street children, with claims linking him to a satanic cult. Despite his confessions, Onancha was released on 8th July 2021 due to lack of evidence.
A man who hit the headlines after a chilling confession that he murdered 17 women and children in the year 2010 has been acquitted of a murder charge by the High Court.
His freedom remains a source of public unease and criticism of Kenya's justice system. On August 21, 1995, Police Commissioner Shadrack Kiruki made an unprecedented announcement, naming 3 men as Kenya's most wanted: Rasta, Wosho, and Wanugu. A bounty of 100,000 Kenya shillings was placed on each head. The trio had killed several GSU and CID officers, staged bloodless bank heists, and spent their loot on guns, beer, and women, in that order, as one newspaper described. Their downfall came through Sergeant Daniel Serone, a trigger-happy cop with superb informers. And what was his secret weapon? A beautiful female officer named Amina used to infiltrate the criminals' circles. As the saying goes, a man's greatest weakness is often a woman. Wosho fell first. Wanugu followed 6 months later in Kabatini. And Rasta, the last man standing, was betrayed and killed in 1999. Today, these names live on not as heroes, but as warnings. Their stories, immortalized in books like Kiriamiti's My Life in Crime and passed down through oral tradition, serve as a reminder of a darker chapter in Kenya's history. As the nation prepares to celebrate the prestige of the Safari Rally in 2026, it's worth remembering how far we've come, from streets terrorized by gangsters to highways celebrating world-class motorsport. Crime has speed, but justice has patience. Rehab Mora, Sauti TV.